I'm Gabby. I'm going to be teaching you about the pectoral girdle muscles. Let's go!
So the first muscle we are looking at of the pectoral girdle is the trapezius. This originates on the occipital bone and the thoracic and cervical vertebrae, as we can see here. It inserts into the spine of the scapula. This is a great picture because you can see all those insertions and origins.
I remember the trapezius as I picture it as a kite that you're draping over yourself. So the origin is the occipital bone, thoracic and cervical vertebrae. So if I'm putting the kite on myself, it's starting here and it's like ending down here, and the insertion is spinoschapula and clavicle. So we're draping it and it's reaching down here to our clavicle, because I keep forgetting the clavicle part. So just think, putting it over, you have to reach your clavicle. And this also helps with the action of it, because to put on the kite, you have to rotate and retract your scapula.
Here we can see the posterior side of the trapezius in the cat. Here we can see the rhomboideus. It originates on the thoracic vertebrae and not the cervical like the trapezius, because as you can see, it doesn't extend upward, and also it inserts into the medial border of the scapula, which is shown clearly here in this picture. The action is to stabilize the scapula and retract the scapula. Just to note that the rhomboideus is especially different in the cat, because it looks like it's separate muscles, but it actually is the whole triangle shape. Don't mind the blurry picture, but we will now be looking at the rotator cuff muscles, which consists of 4 muscles, and they all have the same action of stabilizing the humerus. But the last 2 will do another thing also.
Oh, hey guys, it's you there. The way you remember the insertions for the rotator cuff muscles is through the acronym SIT. So, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor all insert into the greater tubercle of the humerus, SIT. And teres major and subscapularis insert into these lesser tubercle of the humerus.
So here is the supraspinatus. It originates on the supraspinous fossa of the scapula and inserts in the greater tubercle of the humerus. As like I said before, the acronym SIT, it is the S of the SIT word. And the only function of this muscle is to stabilize the humerus. Along with infraspinatus, they both are the only ones that have the one action of stabilizing the humerus. Also, while we're here looking at the infraspinatus, we can see that it originates on the infraspinous fossa of the scapula, so below that spine, and inserts into the greater tubercle of the humerus, the I of the SIT acronym, and it also, like I said, stabilizes humerus. The subscapularis originates on the subscapular fossa of the scapula and inserts into the lesser tubercle of the humerus, not greater like the other ones. And the action of this one is to stabilize the humerus like the others, but also rotate the shoulder medially. I feel like this is a great picture of the teres minor because you can see how it originates on the lateral border of the scapula. It's on the sides there, not in the middle. And it inserts into the greater tubercle of the humerus. Like it's the T part of the acronym, and the action is to stabilize the humerus, and this time it's going to rotate the shoulder laterally.
For the teres major, the origin is our scapula, and our insertion is the lesser tubercle of the humerus. So a fun way to remember the action for this one is by saluting. So you extend shoulder and adduct shoulder. So, because like in the word major, you salute to your major. So extending, adducting, we're adding it to our body, moving it in medially. Yeah.
You know what's also kind of crazy? The pectoralis major also has the word major in it. So I'll show you that action later. But the origin is the sternum and upper costal cartilages, and the insertion is the intertubercular groove of the humerus.
It could also work for the pectoralis major because you are flexing the shoulder and also adducting it. So this is like a different kind of salute where we go like major.
So I'll just really quickly add that in there with the picture. Got lazy at the end there, so don't mind that. The pectoralis minor is kind of a particular muscle because she only wants to originate on ribs 3, 4, and 5. She also inserts into the, I don't know why I'm calling her she. She inserts into the coracoid process of the scapula, and the action, I have a fun way to remember this.
Don't talk to me.
We just gave you the cold shoulder, or as we call it, the pectoralis minor, because the action of the pectoralis minor is to protract the scapula and depress the scapula. So, don't talk to me.
Unfortunately, we do not need to know this one, the cat, so I cannot dissect this cat. But I can for the pectoralis major, so here it is. We need to know this one. The serratus anterior is pretty easy to identify because it has this serrated look. So it originates on ribs 1 through 8, which gives it that like serrated look, and it inserts into the medial border of the scapula. And the action is to protract the scapula, like if you're giving someone a big hug. The latissimus dorsi, or the swimmer's wings muscle, is pretty noticeable too, because some people have it huge like this dude, and this dude, it's not that big. He looks zesty. But it originates on the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. We can see it's pretty down there, so it reaches that lumbar vertebrae, and it inserts into the intertubercular groove of the humerus. The action is to extend the shoulder. It is the primary mover. We can see here, I don't know why he's doing that, but in the swimmers, they have very big latissimus dorsi. It almost looks like their shoulder once they get in the water. It sticks out, like there, you can see it. It's pretty similar in the cat too. We can see how it originates in the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae, the back, and it doesn't extend towards the neck, like us. Home stretch, we are at the last muscle, which is now the deltoid. Best for last. The deltoid originates on the spine of the scapula. We can clearly see it here, and it inserts into a very special part of the humerus we learned about a while ago, the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus. We finally get to know what that is for, and the action is to abduct the shoulder. It's the primary mover. This really dramatic video shows it in motion, abducting the shoulder. That was intense. Anyways, I lost my other cat, so I gotta dissect this little one. The deltoid in the cat is especially different from us, but if we locate the cat's shoulder, make sure it's not the elbow but the shoulder, we can tell that the superior muscle covering that area is going to be its deltoid. And yay, that was all the muscles of the pectoral girdle. Let's do this little quiz. What is the action of the trapezius, teres major, and pectoralis major? Think about it. And here are the answers. If you remember that trapezius was like putting on a kite as a cape, that teres major was like saluting to your major, by extending your shoulder, and the pectoralis major was also sallooning, but while flexing your shoulder. And that's it. Thank you for watching.